Things are moving fast in the Middle East. After ceasefire in Lebanon, a ceasefire in Gaza is in the air. The genocidal regime of Israel, though, is raining hell on Syria of post-Bashar al-Assad. So is Middle East moving towards peace, or the war has just been expanded? Importantly, how Israel's nemesis Iran is viewing these developments. Welcome to yet another edition of Wise Heads. I am your host, Ashish Shukla. Today I have chosen to reply to some interesting questions which viewers have sent in my mailbox and on my social media accounts. The first one is by Mr. Ajay Bhasin from Muzaffarnagar. Is it true that Jordan and Saudi Arabia are helping Israel as Turkey has done all along in recent months? Are we to believe that Jordan and Saudi Arabia are rogue nations as far as the Palestinian cause is concerned? Well, if you look at the Middle East map, you would notice Israel has almost a parallel boundary running from north to south on its eastern side with Jordan. Jordan, in turn, has much of its boundary facing the northern end of Saudi Arabia. Both these nations, Jordan and Saudi Arabia, which are nonetheless are helping Israel in the trade. They are the transit land corridors for much of Israel's supplies of food, vegetables, equipments, and other goods to go through. Israel had received a gut in the blow from Houthis in Yemen, which lies directly below Saudi Arabia. Houthis are a well-armed militia group in Yemen with loyalties towards the Palestinian cause. For months, they have blocked the Red Sea for Israel's maritime trade. Even though the United States has a powerful naval carrier in USS Roosevelt deployed in the Red Sea, it's of little help in warding off the Houthis' blockade. Israel thus far was largely trading through Mediterranean Sea and Red Sea. Turkey has been a help in the Mediterranean, but Red Sea is a dead end due to the Houthis. This problem has largely been neutralized through Jordan and Saudi Arabia. Now, to the second part of your question, Mr. Bhasin, is it to believe that Jordan and Saudi Arabia are rogue nations to the Palestinian cause? Well, you could say that. Both are monarchies and owe their survival to armed support from the United States. Their Arab citizens, though, feel strongly in the Palestinian cause. They are seething in anger, but thus far could do little. Not just these two monarchies, other Gulf countries like Bahrain, Qatar, and United Arab Emirates also are handmaiden to the United States. They do as they are being told. Second question is from Kuldeep Rana, and he is from New Delhi. Kuldeep asks, the axis of resistance around Israel, which comes largely through Houthis, Hezbollah, and Hamas, and to a lesser degree from Shia militias in Iraq, has it been weakened now that Israel is busy destroying the Syrian route to these resistance forces? How these groups and their main feeder Iran is going to work around this issue? Well, Hezbollahs are in no rush. There is a ceasefire in place, and when the hostilities would resume, which it would, they already have enough stockpile of arms and weapons to keep Israel harried for months. The impression that Syria was a route to these resistance forces is a little outdated. For last few years, Bashar al-Assad wasn't much of a help on this matter. Yet Iran found ways to replenish the resistance forces in Gaza, Lebanon, and Yemen. It would continue to find ways to keep the resistance going. They would keep bleeding Israel with a million cuts till there is no Israel left. So that's your answer, Kuldeep. The third question is from Manish Upadhyay. He writes from Nagpur. Iran has lately been keeping quiet. It gave Israel a bloody nose with its strike when Tel Aviv was shocked to see Tehran's capability. Yet Israel is thumping its chest more so with the destruction it has carried out in Syria. Why is Iran so quiet? Well, Iran has been cautious, let's put it this way. It doesn't mean it is weak or it is quiet. There is no delusion, neither in Tel Aviv nor in Washington, that Tehran is weak. A country which has 90 million population, which despite crushing sanctions is one of the top 30 economies of the world, a country whose people are extremely sophisticated and bright. Remember, it is only one of the two countries which has an advanced drone research program. The other one, of course, is the United States. That country could be anything but weak. On October 1 this year, it fired no less than 200 ballistic missiles on Israel, which was staggering. It was said that there are two ways with which Israel could really hurt Iran. One, it has nuclear capability, and two, it could blow up its oil reserves. Now, Israel isn't too sure if Iran is not nuclear capable, or even if it is not, it has important friends in Russia and China. As for safety of Iran's oil pipelines, well, Iran has given ample warnings that any attack on its oil prowess would result in a retaliatory attack which would blow up other oil refineries of the region, including those who are friends to Israel and United States. It would throw the world into a crisis and would badly hurt the important trade routes of the world. There is a related question to this one from one Avinash Jain from Lucknow. Avinash asks, how come Israel is so militarily capable it could bomb many places simultaneously? It is behaving the way it does. Is it only because it has the support of the United States? Well, that goes without saying. Surely it's the United States. Otherwise, Israel won't have as many bombs as it has now to bomb other people. Israel has a blank check in the form of the United States. It has bought off much of US Congress. Besides, Israel essentially is doing the job of United States in the Middle East, that is to keep it in anarchy and in chaos. The more Middle East is divided or any part of the world is divided, better chances the imperialists have of controlling the region. Remember, these imperialists are primarily the maritime powers. Remember also that the Middle East is one region where three continents of Europe, Asia, and Africa meet. It is the heart of the landmass of the world. But the trouble is, the United States has its military bases in the region, but its numbers of men are very limited. You don't win war without boots on the ground. And you could be sure that the new US President, Donald Trump, won't increase its armed forces in the Middle East. As recent months have shown, Israel could bomb endlessly, yet its men are hopeless when it comes to ground operations. More so if they are in long-drawn attritional wars. Only in the last few days, Iran's Supreme Leader Al-Khamenei has said that Israel would be eradicated. Iran is not quiet, make no mistake about it. I think its silence is one of strength. Rahim Ansari, he's from Hyderabad, and he asks, which one is a more important country in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia or Iran? Well, by the looks of it, Israel is the most powerful of all because it is doing what it wants to do. The truth, though, is that last 14 months have exposed Israel's vulnerability. It couldn't finish off Hamas or Hezbollah. It could do little about Houthis, as assassinations and pager attacks are okay. I mean that pager and assassination attacks are okay, but they haven't met Israel's military objective. And that objective was to eliminate its enemies. Well, it has been forced to do ceasefire with Hezbollah and it could likewise do in Gaza. It received a bloodied nose from Iran. Now, between Saudi Arabia and Iran, which was your question, both are important countries to the world because of oil. But Iran is better placed militarily, unlike Saudis who are completely dependent on Washington, and the two together couldn't even subdue Yemen. Saudi Arabia, to be fair, has been trying to diversify and trying to get close to China. It is already close to Russia because of its oil and OPEC bondings. Iran, on the other hand, is geographically extremely important. Russia, for example, sees it as a multi-nodal country for its corridors and trade, even to Africa. Russia, China, and Iran together are an important bulwark in landmass in Asia. They have their challenges in Central Asia, for sure, whose Turkish affinity to Turkey is a potential problem, especially when it comes to terrorism and armed militias. But Iran is firmly integrated in BRICS, which is almost the word together against the bully that the United States is. Saudi Arabia, on the other hand, is trying its best to modernize and move away from dependence solely on oil. But at the moment, its levers are firmly in the hands of the United States. As to who is more important between Saudi Arabia and Iran, well, if you take a popular vote in the Arab region from masses, irrespective of whether it's a Sunni or a Shia person or of any other sect or minority, Iran has everyone's admiration for the support it extends to the Palestinian cause. By that token, Saudi Arabia is seen as a Washington lackey which has deserted the Palestinian cause. Omkar Nath writes from Agra. How do you see the role of Turkey evolving in the region? Well, Turkey is not a friend of the Arab world. Make no mistake about it. What the Turkish government is doing, which is headed by Erdogan, and I'm making a difference here between the Turkish leader and Turkish people feel very strongly in favor of the Palestinians. But Turkey has had a role in promoting Al Qaeda and now HTS in Syria, and this would only bite them back. Turkey is slowly sliding towards Wahhabism, which could have repercussions in their society. Erdogan speaks harsh words against Israel, but in reality, he has been an enabler of Israel, especially on the matter of oil supply. It makes use of its geographical location, which makes it extremely important for both the Western world and to Russia. It's a NATO member, and yet Russia already supplies its oil to Central and Eastern Europe through Turkey, which could only increase in coming years. Turkey has destroyed Assad's Syria but can't control it because it would take a lot of money to run the country. At best, Turkey could get a solution to Kurdish problem in its southern region, which it presently is tackling rather well. Now, Rajesh Awasthi is from Jaipur, and he asks, what does the future hold for the Arab world? Not too great, I would say. Libya is a failed state, so is Yemen, Lebanon, Iraq, Syria, etc. Millions of refugees who lost their loved beings, their assets, their homes, have fled their native homes. They have been reduced to destitution, prostitution, living in tents, etc. They have literally slid back to the 16th century of tribal warfare and enmity for which the Arab region was known. Those who are aligned to the Washington regime haven't done too badly. They are primarily the Gulf nations, say Saudi Arabia, UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, the monarchies, that is. They are saved from anarchy because they owe allegiance to Washington. What does it tell you? It tells you that Washington doesn't like anyone with an independent policy in the region, or for that matter, in any part of the world. That is one of the main reasons why it has tried for now close to a half century to subdue the Islamic Republic of Iran. That's one of the tragedies of the late 20th and now the 21st century. It's a catastrophe like few in human history. That's all for today. Do subscribe us and ask anything you have on mind on international affairs. I would try to accommodate as many interesting questions as possible. We meet soon. Till then, goodbye.